seen the book Logion, The Language of God? You've seen that book? Wave your hand. How many of you have read through that book? Wave your hand. Now, you know, it's easy to see a book, but to have read the book is also another discipline. And really, I'm teaching from chapter 3. I thought I could do 4, 5, but I've been on chapter 3 now. And what I'm teaching in chapter 3 now are not in chapter 3. But should be in chapter 3. So, you know, when you read a book and the author is reviewing the book, he reviews in details, even the things that shouldn't have, that were not written in the book, because in writing, we are limited. So now, we're going to fly. Now, it has to be clear to you, if you're under the sound of my voice, that this is your first time of coming here. Wonderful. We love you and welcome you. But it is important I let you know that everybody here are not humans. And maybe you don't know. This is not the first time, it has always been like that. In Genesis chapter 6, there was a time where the earth had people who were not humans. If you read the book of Genesis chapter 6, some angels mated with women, sons of God. The Bible said they slept with some women on earth and married them, took them as wives. Look at it. Took the daughters, they came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. But the children were not normal people. They became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. The word translated there is Nephilims. They were not normal people. They were kind of species. So you see a child inside the classroom. They are trying to carry a chair and he does like this. Then you just realize that this one is different from this one. It's not like the other children. It's not a human. God saw the imbalance upon the earth because these people were not, God didn't want them. These ones are people that fell from heaven that went to do this thing. So when God saw it, he said, no, we can't continue like this. It's not balanced anymore. So he sent the flood. And these Nephilims were destroyed. But their fathers were not destroyed. Why? Because these are fallen angels. Water can't kill them. They went up. They became what we call the principalities. The Nephilims were wiped out. But these ones, they didn't wipe out. They were there. They went up. Now, when God wanted to make the new creation, I know you're still standing, but you need to catch this standing before you sit down. When God was to make the new creation, he had an intention. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 10. If you read from verse 8, Paul wrote, unto me who am less than the least of all saints is this grace given, that I should preach among the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of Christ. What does it mean? Amplified version. Like it to be like this. It said, boundless, fathomless. You know what it means to say something is fathomless? It means you keep drawing from the well, but you don't get to the end of the well. It's inexhaustible, fathomless, incalculable, and exhaustless riches of Christ. There is no rich man on earth in the natural sphere that his wealth is incalculable. But there is one. The man Christ Jesus. That's the only among men. Reign of Christ, which no human being could have searched out. Oh, verse 9. Also to enlighten all men and make plain to them what is the plan regarding the Gentiles are providing for the salvation of all men, of the mysteries kept hidden through the ages and concealed until now in the mind of God, who created all things by Christ Jesus. Verse 10, very important. The purpose is that through the church, the complicated, many-sided wisdom of God. It all is infinite. Variety and innumerable aspects might now be made known to the angelic rulers and authorities, principalities, these people, these fathers of the Nephilims, these sons of God that the flood could not destroy. So God decided to raise another species. And when the species come, they will now pass a knowledge of the wisdom of God to these ones. How will they do it? Is it by preaching? No. It is by the demonstration. The kind of life they had. When suddenly they are not susceptible. You did your agriculture susceptibility. And you were taught that how some crops, livestock can be subject to some diseases and some are not subject to some diseases. But these ones, they are not susceptible to any kind of attack. Remember, in Ephesians chapter 6, this same Ephesians, verse number 12, we found out, but from verse 10 is important, you know. He said, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Then he said in verse 11, he said, put on the whole armor of God, that you might be able to stand against the wiles of these devils. Then he said in verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against these principalities. These are still these forces that were before the flood. The flood could not destroy them, but their breeds were destroyed. So now, they're not giving birth, entering the daughters of men to give birth to giants. They live as spirits to control the world. Decide things, wars in nations, create chaos in governments, mess up the status and the plans and purpose in a society. Morality disturbed. They are the ones that introduce some of the things and situations we find around the world, like lesbianism, homosexualism, transgender vows, and others. So they have gone more technical with their work, destroying the works of man's hands and then trying to adulterate the human conscience. But also God, knowing this is how their operations are going to be, he raised his own seed. And Jesus in Mark chapter 16, verse number 17, says, and these signs. So this is seeds are still going to have signs. Now, not to keep you standing too much, you can sit down and listen to me, because I'm still here in 17. He said, and this sign shall follow them that believe. In my name, they shall cast out devils. What are we dealing with? Where are devils? Devils don't dress as devils walking on the street. They don't. You're not going to walk into a grocery shop and see a devil on a red hat and he said, I'm devil. What did they do? They possess the heart of men and manipulate the hearts of men against the will of God. Then he said that we are going to go casting out devils, meaning we also going to have control over the heart of men. And the devil can enter the heart of man, and the Bible says we shall cast out devils. It means we shall have access to the heart of man. Imagine so. Then we shall speak with new tongues. Translated glossolalia, speech of tongues, unknown tongues. Then he goes on in verse 18 to say, they shall take up serpents. What does the Bible mean by taking up serpents? To take up serpent, it means you can control serpent. And serpent is not represented in a snake. God has no problem with snakes. He's talking about the wisdom of this world. They shall match the wisdom of this world. They are going to be way wiser than the people of this world. They shall take up serpents. Think about it. Man was driven out of the Garden of Eden by a serpent. The scheme of the serpent. Deceived, and they ate the forbidden fruit. When God wanted to redeem the Israelites from Egypt, he said, throw your rod down. He turned to what? A serpent. He said, pick the serpent by the tail. When he picked it by a serpent, now the rod turned to serpent. The rod to an oriental man in the days of Moses was the certificate of wisdom of Egypt. So when it was on the ground, and God said, pick it by the tail, it means you are going to trample on the wisdom of Egypt. Suddenly it means put all the science of Egypt together. One man is going to be wiser than them, faster than them, sharper than them, ahead of them. I'm preaching to someone now there. And if you're that person, you can say, I'm wiser than Egypt. Wiser than them. Take up serpents. Bible says in the book of Numbers chapter 21, they were beaten by a fiery serpent. And they say, hang a brazen serpent. And tell them that whoever turns and look at the brazen serpent will be healed of the wound of the fiery serpent. And Jesus in John chapter 3, verse 14 and 15, he says, as Moses lifted up the brazen serpent, even so shall the Son of Man be lifted up, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Man fell to the serpent. Man was restored by the serpent. You don't want to hear that. But I'm talking to a higher class. Why do I say that the serpent saved you? Because in the book of Corinthians chapter 2, verse number 6, the Bible says we speak wisdom. And I told you serpent is wisdom. To trample on the wisdom of this world and to tread upon their wisdom and control their wisdom. He said we speak wisdom among the mature. The word translated perfect there is translated mature in the original Greek translation. He said, not the wisdom of this world, of this age, on the rulers of this age. So they have their own serpents who are coming to nothing. That was why Moses' serpent swallowed the serpents of the Egyptians. So when we begin to communicate to you, you must understand that everyone born again, including yourself, maybe you never knew, have special powers inside of you. You were born with rights. Yes, you were born with rights. And not just with right, like we say in Greek, exousia. In the book of Luke chapter 10, verse number 19, I read from verse 18. Jesus said to them, behold, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Then he said in verse 19, he said, behold. The word behold there is actually to see with a special attention. Behold, I give unto you. Authorized version say power. The original translation used the word exousia, which is originally translated authority. But remember, as at the time of translation, English language of the 16th century is not the same English language spoken today. So English language has a lot of limitations. So words, there were no differentiation on words until its usage or application. So you could say power, and what power will mean will not be what it means now. So here it says, I give unto you power But the word used there in Greek is exousia. Exousia. It means authority. And now for the layman, authority and power, you may not know the difference, but those of you that studied government in school, or you had anything to do with law in school, know that there's a difference between authority and power. And when you have power without authority, you are a rebel. Authority is the legality, the authorization or the license to power. A child gets some skills in driving, but he's not up to 18, according to the Nigerian law. So he has the power to drive. He has a father's car key in his hand, and he's sitting in the car. He has the skills. That is power. But without a driver's license, the father can be arrested. And the child will also be arrested. But because he's a minor, the father or whoever owns that car will also be arrested. So, why is the skill of the child not accepted? Because he doesn't have authority. So the child is a rebel. So the child's action is not against his father, but against the Federal Republic of Nigeria. When you have authority, your power becomes legal. In your Nigerian constitution on self-defense, you have a gun. You have a gun, and you are defending your environment, your household. Or you have a security man who is licensed to use a gun, but the license covers only your neighbor, your compound, your household. If robbers are robbing 2 houses away, and the security man goes there and shoots the robber, if for any reason that robber decides against himself being a robber and takes your security man to court, you'll be arrested. Except you have a proof. Number one is the license you have for your security is only your household. It is not covering outside the jurisdiction of your house. Or let me say, a gun right is given to you and you have a right to arm for your neighborhood for self-defense. And there is a robbery 2 neighborhoods away from your neighborhood. And somebody who is your friend is calling you. You have a gun, can you come and help us? Your gun is criminalized. Immediately step out of your compound. Once you get it loaded and use it outside, you are not a first man, you are a criminal. Hallelujah. For those of you that have guns and those of you that aspire to have guns, you better know the law. You're a criminal, and anyone can charge you, can be arrested and just be thrown into the jail. And before you know it's from cell, you think you come out, you have gone to jail. Before you know it, you're worried. Because whoever is telling you you didn't do anything is lying to you. The person doesn't know the law also. Now, I'm saying this to say that the new creation man, Peter, get up, sir. This one is a son of God. Do you hear that? Who did I say he is? And who is God? Is God mortal or immortal? So this one is what? is immortal. True or false? So this one cannot die. True or false? And if this one is involved in an accident, and then you look and see his body lying on the ground, did he die? Why? Because he's an immortal. What you knew happened to him is that he left this physical body out. Because a pressure that he could not manage with the physical body came against him. So he ejected. Now, these are things that if I start explaining to you, can you handle it? That is the next thing. Now, you know why? Because I was told to raise men as gods. Show them who they are, what they have, and what they can do. Tell them to be fearless and godlike, because that is who they are. So what is really death is when you come out of this container, and then you look, you are not in the container anymore. They said in the natural world you are dead. But if you're already born again, you didn't die. You are still alive. But just that because you have not been able to put your body under control, your body pushed you out. So they said you died. What happened was that your body rejected you. Just, you know this, your body also has its power. You know your body has its power. Let's put a blood that is not your blood group or blood type into your body. What will happen? It will reject it. That's the same way your body has the right to throw away your spirit. Then your spirit, get out of this body, get out. And your spirit couldn't stay anymore, so ejected, and you, and you're dead. And then the God he said, you didn't die, you are still alive. But now, your spirit, you didn't know how to. You didn't know how to. How do I explain it now? Now I'm trying to use different words now to explain it. You have not known how to merge. Good, but that is too light for my word, so I don't want to use the word merge. You don't know how to get your body submerged in the union of the knowledge that is in your spirit. So your body can actually be immersed, enveloped, encapsulated with the real you. Now, at that time, you will talk like Paul. I have been crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but Christ that lives in me. The life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith of the Son of God that loved me and gave himself to me. Is it F.F. Bosworth that said, when you cut through me, you see Christ? So now, this one here still have this body of flesh like this one come. Like this one here. This one is not born again. This one is born again. They share the same house. So this is in flat 1, this is in flat 2. And COVID-19 came. And this one is wearing face mask. And this one is wearing face mask. This one is wearing face mask out of fear. This one is wearing face mask because the government forced him to wear it. Not because he's afraid of anything. And then you ask me, this one now develops symptoms. And then you ask me, this one now also develops symptoms. Is it possible? Entirely possible. But you see one thing. In Psalm 37, verse 37, the Bible says, mark the perfect man. So when you see the two of them showing the same symptom or the same disease, mark the perfect man. Behold the upright. For the end of this man. You know why? that thing can't stay in his body. You know why? Because his body has been consumed, submerged, enveloped, encapsulated with the word of God. And his spirit has swallowed up his flesh. So what happened is that his body will throw away the COVID. Just the way your flesh can throw away your spirit. Oh, God. But they had the same symptom. Now, what's going to be the issue is that they went to the same hospital. And this guy is wondering why this guy got all right after 4 days. His body threw away the COVID. The other time there was a first heart transplant that was conducted using the heart of a pig. And the first heart transplant using the heart of the first animal transplant with a man, they thought could be successful using the heart of a pig. The man was discharged, is he not? And he went home and then 21 days later died. And what happened? Because the body did not accept the pig. The heart of the pig could not. So the science started a lot of work in the laboratory because they're still looking at the pig's heart. And what is it that made the pig's heart not to match the human body? Because the pig has almost all the components that could make it stay with the human body. And if they can succeed to replace the human heart with a pig's heart, it will save people who are waiting for, people who are dying to get their heart for heart transplant. So, God has given wisdom to men. They are working, still working on it. But now, the body threw away the pig's heart. Look at how powerful the old nature is. They'll say, I'm not compatible with this pig. And they push the pig heart out. And I imagine. And that man really wished to be alive. He wished that the body could accept it. But we know science are doing a lot of modification. Some of these experiments so that they can get it matching. Because it will also save a lot of natural people. Because at times to wait for human kidney and liver and heart, you could just get it from an animal then. Praise the Lord. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to them that need it. Those people that decide they're not going to listen to me, they want to be like this. So now, this man died of that accident because within the time he has heard about his identity, he has not been able to internalize the knowledge of his identity into his mind and transmit it to his body. Do you know that all I'm teaching you here now, that you wrote on your notes, you can pass it into your mind until it consumes you, it changes the way you talk. So when you are talking with people, they notice that there are certain languages and words that are not compatible with you. And it takes people who are detailed around you to notice that you don't speak those words. You are not fighting with them, but when it gets to those words, it's as though you skip. You understand, like, you just go to your computer and just type your Igbo name when you are making a letter or an essay. What happens? You just see an underline. The computer was not programmed with Igbo language. Yoruba language is not there in the computer. So if your computer is British standard, even if you type an American standard English, it will have a red line. That's how it is also. So now, there's a programming. There's a programming. Remember when you got that computer, they asked you what language. When you were doing your programming of your computer, they asked you what language. You are the one that decided the language. But after you decide the language, you came under the mercy of that language. It means anything you're writing, remember you have said Spanish. The day you don't speak Spanish, your computer will not recognize you. Now, that's the same thing. Now, when you're born again, your spirit came with a language. It was programmed with the language of heaven. And you landed, born again. But now, this is a world of the flesh. You must manifest using a body of flesh. So God left you in this body of flesh. This body of flesh needs programming. Else you cannot enjoy this thing I'm teaching. So at the end of the day, you say, that thing Pastor taught is not working. It is not that it's not working, bro. We don't need your coming to church today to tell me it's not working. First, you got to check. I have been teaching it for more than 25 years now. And if it's not working, I should have had a lot of people writing it's not working. So all of the people who have listened to me and it worked for them, when it did work for you, the question is, you were not properly programmed. So your programming begins with your mind. Man is a spirit that has a soul. Your soul is different from your spirit. Your soul is your mental center, is the intellectual man. The spiritual man is your spirit. The intellectual man is your soul. And remember, it is not when you were born again, man became a spirit that have a soul and live in the body. The moment man is born into this world, whether you are a native doctor's child, whether you are a professor's child, you are a spirit that have a soul and live in the body. But now, when you are born into this world without being born again, you are spiritually dead. When we say spiritually dead, you are alienated, alienated, alienated from the life that is in Christ Jesus. And because you are an alien to that life, a stranger to that life, you are estranged from that life, you don't have that life in you, so you are spiritually dead. The only way someone can be spiritually alive is when the branch is connected to the stem. That is why the Bible says in the book of John chapter 15, he said, abide in me and I abide in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of its own. So you can't bear by yourself. So you are all spiritually dead. We were all spiritually dead until we met Jesus and we had the word of faith. The moment we had that word of faith, we came alive. Now that we came alive, we are born again. It's our spirit that we are born again. Our body is still the same. Our soul, which is our intellectual property, is still the way it is. So whatever you have learned in your soul, the worldly song you learned, they are also all there. All the bad things, the things you stole, and how you steal, the skills on how to open people's door, they are still there. And that is why the war of your mind becomes your biggest battle when you are born again. All the pornographies you were seeing before you got born again, they are all in your head. The only thing that happened is that you are not born again. But God left your memory card, because once that memory card is removed from Brother Polycarp, he won't know his house. It is your intellect. That is where your house address is also. So if God tampers with it and says, let's clean it, hey, he will sleep in the church. He will turn mumu. He will just get born again and be mumu and be moving about. And they ask, where are you going to? He will ask you, where is this place? They say, it's a church. He say, church. They say, pronounce church. All his English language will also disappear. So you see why God will not tamper with your memory card, which is your soul. But now, there's a program in which your soul has to go through. Let me get you to understand. This is simple. When you got this phone, where's your phone? There. Where's your phone? There. What's the name of your phone? When you got this thing finished, there were programs in this phone. Were there programs in this phone? Some of the programs were Infinix program. As a matter of fact, they were programs from the Infinix lab where this phone came from. They're just there. You may not need them. So what do you do when you get the phone? You not do installation of the programs you want inside your phone. It's the same thing when you are born again. That's what they call installation process. That's why we go to church. For installation. Look at it. Romans 12, 1 and 2. The Bible says, I beseech you therefore by the mercies of God that you present your body a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your intelligent service, amplified version. He says, rational is intelligence. I love it. Rational, intelligent service, and spiritual worship. So it's reasonable. It's intellectual service. The presentation of your body to be a living sacrifice is intellectual. It's not spiritual. Verse number 2. Authorized version. He said, be not conformed to the world. Be not conformed. Meaning, the configuration of this phone is up to you. You get this phone now, for your 14-year-old child. The first thing that you are concerned about is configuration. So you know there are things you don't want your 14-year-old child to see. So even when you got the phone, did you hand it over to the child? You held back the phone and wait for parental guidance. And you install parental guidance. And when your child takes the phone and he tries to log on to some adult sites, what is he going to see? Email address will appear, space for it. And since your child has no email address, what happens? He's denied access. And the child wants to do Facebook. They ask again for email address, parents' email address. Doesn't have it, access denied. Password, he doesn't have. Access denied. And you knew that this is done to save the child because of configuration. Now, when you are born again, the same thing happened to you. But now, remember, you are not a child, you are an adult. So now, you decide what you put inside this phone. So he said, be not conformed to the world. This is a higher version of man. The man in Christ is higher version. So don't configure it the way you configured yourself before. To be sick. To say, you look at your language, I'm sick and tired of these things. Only you sick, only you tired. Hey, that finished me. Look at these people. Hey, you want to keep me? Oh, hey. You are so happy they're killing you. Oh, this thing you're doing is killing me. Look at your language. You are full of debt and misery in your language. So he said, be not conformed to the world, but be ye. Oh, God. These are things when you see it in the Bible, you start shouting. He said, be ye transformed. The word transformed there is metamorpho. By the renewing of your mind. Meaning, it's up to you now what you put here. Do you see this? Our people in ODH and SAM, when they hold their phone, and they use their phone and they produce some crazy things, and you're wondering, is the same phone you had, but your own can't produce anything. It is the phone has gone through what we call transformation by configuration. So it's not the same. Some of your phones are very expensive but useless. Expensively useless. Imagine you have iPhone 15 Pro Max, but what you can only do with it is chat and take snapshots. Expensively useless. And if someone asks you, why did you buy it? You have just used some big money to express your illiteracy. Huge amount of money to express your illiteracy. Just imagine that. So he said, be not conformed, but be transformed by the renewing. Meaning, now this man, this one is, what do you say the name of your phone is? And this one is iPhone. And this is iPhone. And this Infinix can be better than these iPhones, depending on the configuration. And these two people don't know anything. I'm making illustration. They don't know anything about configuration. So they have iPhone, whatever they want to have, iPhones. They can even go 17. We don't mind. And this guy with Infinix, we sell both of them with the phone. Have you not seen that? Some of you say you are unemployed, but you have a phone of 600,000 naira. And another person with a phone of 250,000 is earning $1,000 every month. I say, how? Yahoo. Bro, you are late. Yahoo has passed. You don't know what's going on now. I mean, like, there are many remote jobs that are online you can get and earn some good dollars and pounds without having to Japan. And I mean, life is cheaper that way. Because you're getting out of the country to go pay somebody 600,000 for a small makeshift room where you can't even dance like this and go like this. You're just in one corner, and that's where you are sleeping. That's your house rent is 600,000. Your salary is $1,500. You have used $600 to pay salary, to pay for house rent. People in the village are expecting from you. Your village people, you know. They knew that you're abroad, you should say something. And there are people here who got a good job here. There's nothing wrong with staying abroad. If you stay abroad, you need to call me so that I give you a class on how to earn big. Now, you are here, someone here is earning just $1,200. And he understands the system here that what you are shouting is expensive here is one year house rent. You just pay 1 year house rent and you are done. There is 1 month. Here is 1 year. And every other money you are making it for yourself with that phone of 300,000 naira. And you yourself, you are carrying big phone, empty bank account. Just stop. Stop this nonsense. Stop.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Stop. I will stop.
You gotta know it.
Yes, sir.
How are you working so hard to do Yahoo? You're working for Yahoo for 3 months to earn only $5,000. 3 months, you're laboring, you lose your name. EFCC is chasing you. FBI are chasing you for $5,000 in God, look at you. Look at you in 3 months. But there are remote jobs which you can earn more than that in 3 months. And nobody will chase you. And you don't need to answer another name. And when you are in an airport and you see security operatives approaching, you don't begin to bend your head unnecessarily. So what are we talking about? I don't want to. Oh my God, look at this brother. Is he not wonderful? And look at this brother, the man of the earth. His illustration after this class is not. So, this is a man of the earth, this is a man of the spirit. And the Bible says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, Romans 12:2. So, what happened now is you begin to do installation. So, you are coming to church today, you ask, what's pastor's topic? Logion, the language of God. So, installation, app, language app. You install language app. Because that is what was lacking in the new man. And this language app, how important is it? Without language, there are no transactions in a country. When you enter any nation, one of the limitation to transaction is language limitation. You already did some of you are students of commerce, and you knew the barriers to trade. That number one barrier to trade is what? Language. Hey, imagine you don't know how to speak the language. Are you coming there? I knew what it was to me. The last time I went to Togo. As I got there, right at the airport, my phone's gone blank now. Okay. I just stayed there. I didn't move. The guy said, approaching me to talk to, I said, can you get me someone? I need internet. Because I don't know your language. I didn't come with any protocol. Everybody they're waiting for me, I had to get to them. First, I need internet. And the first thing I did was, I got the internet going. When I got the internet going, the next thing I asked is, I need an interpreter. I didn't start going to a hotel to lodge. I need an interpreter. I looked for someone, employed the person. I said, till I go, you are under salary from me. Now, I settled interpreter. I said, now, I can go to a hotel. I have two things, internet and interpreter. Internet means my office has been extended. Interpreter means I can speak my English freely. It's up to you to do your job. So, I continued everything I'm doing, I was speaking like I was in Nigeria. That's your business. That's what I paid you for. So now, you got to get it. So now we are doing logion because of the language barrier. Paul said in Corinthians 13, verse 11, when I was a child, I'm rounding up now, because you know when I'm taking this kind of class are classes that if you were not church members here, and I go to teach it in an institution, you will pay. You pay so much to take the class. You come to church like this and you just have this kind of pastor. I want you to always appreciate the gift of a man of God in your life. Amen. Now we have used some moments to clap inside my little time remaining. Let's use the other time. He said, when I was a child, I spake as a child. Then I understood as a child. So the way I talk affected my understanding. And then I thought as a child. The way I thought was also marginalized because I was a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Think on it now. So now, imagine installation. Language is installed. And whenever language is installed, it comes with three components in language: your speech, your understanding, and your reasoning. Your speech, the speech component changes. Understanding means your perception and interpretation of things changes. When you look at things, the way you perceive things have changed. And then reasoning, your imagination, your constructive thinking changes. Your constructive thinking changes. You go into what we call creative thoughts. You can't be a poor man anymore, not because of bank accounts, because you have a rich mind. All of these things in this one man. The moment is in this one man. And you are in a vehicle. And the vehicle is about to some installed. These three components go alert. Your speech, your thoughts, your understanding. I'm telling you, have you seen when people want to die, how they behave? Have you ever been in a vehicle and it was about to have an accident? Do you see the reaction? People went crazy. Even the gentleman who never talked to you before suddenly started grabbing you. It's like people don't like dying alone. I mean, when death comes, loneliness comes. They start grabbing you. I'm telling you, I would forget before I got married. I was in a vehicle coming back from Lagos with Pastor Vivian. I took her to see my uncle. And we were coming back. Right in that bus, we were on this slope. And for a reason, it's like our bus parked. Because there was like an accident or something happened. So the bus parked to come down, and then a trailer failed brake coming down the slope. And then the bus driver sees us. He's not going to drive his bus out. So people inside the bus, they're all running inside the bus. You could see people jumping. from the back, like, okay, this trailer is going to hit us at the back, so let's jump to the front. We're still inside the same bus. And I just want to look at all these guys. This is how they feel. To me, anyway, I didn't do anything because I was around. Anyway, I feel nothing's going to happen because I already had this program. This thing I'm teaching was already there. So she didn't move again, too. I was wondering, I asked her later, why did you not join them? She said she felt I was around. So, they were jumping. Like, people jump from the back seat. And I said, okay, are you not in the same bus? You're in the same bus. You're even more at risk. Because you're not balanced. You are neither sitting or standing. And you just imagine how people behave. Why? Because these things are not programmed. Challenges will come. You may be hearing me because you may be in a car that will be having an accident in the future. And that may be the reason you are hearing me. Remember, you are not in control of everything. There are things that one day you sit in a car and the driver decides to be in control. But one thing is that you can control the outcome of the driver's foolishness. You can decide it because you are inside the car. So I knew I have to decide it. Why? I have to wed. I have to get married, live with my wife, have my children. And number two, I can't die by accident. I'm Sam of the Most High God. There are things, it's not a thought. So I didn't pray, I didn't pray. Listen, if I stay in a car with you and you hit something and I shout, it's not because something will happen to me. It's because of the cost of what we're about to buy. When your car is about to crash, you think about the cost of the bomber. In the process, and also the cost of the other person out there. So it could make you also shout. Ask any car owner, once you hear "bua," the first thing that comes to your head is like your head arranges the amount you're about to spend. You just see calculation going on in your head. Immediately you get to know the cost of headlamp. You just get to know the cost of bomber immediately in your head. It's like there's a signal. You are seeing, it's like signal recording. 80,000 naira, 150,000 naira. Now it has got to 250,000 naira. Your head is just recording. I have to round up. Now look at this class. So now, the spiritual man was born again, but the mental man was not born again because you will lose all the files. So God left it for you to do a reprogramming. So it means a gradual change. Transform, metamorphose is gradual. You begin to remove old files and put a new file. You are born again, you know. So, come this way now. You have joined him. So, we begin to remove the old file, put a new file. Because if you don't change the file, you will think that it's your mother in the village that is your problem. You think that it's the old woman in your village that is your problem. That is why you see yourself going from one prayer house to another prayer house. The problem is stop going anywhere and change your files. Your files are your problem. When you change the files, nobody is your problem. The Bible says no weapon formed against you. Your problem is not human being. It's bad file. Old files are causing problem for the new you. So, I'm going to stop here because of time. Next Sunday, we're going to continue from chapter 3, chapter 4, and chapter 5. And see how far we can go. This is a very long class. I don't even know when we are rounding up on Logan. But I hope you are enjoying it. Okay. Now remember to be here on Wednesday as we take on believers' responsibilities. And you know, we talk about the threefold responsibilities of a believer. So beautiful. Bow your head and give God praise.
Trust that you've been blessed by this broadcast.
Usher with us at Salvation Gospel Mission International Headquarters, number 30 Ways Up Street, off Naval Serrata, Sabah Delta State, Nigeria.